Hi, it's Mark here at AIDS 2026. And these high level policy people can get pretty wonky in the big press conferences that they host for us media folks. I couldn't help but ask a question of the American that used to run PEPFAR or be a high official there about how he felt about being an American in the first time at a conference internationally like this that I felt self-conscious for that reason. And because of our funding cuts, devastating global programs. During this press conference, they had all talked very didactically about programs and figures and numbers. Then I had something else on my mind. So that's what I asked them about, and here it is. My name is Mark S. King. I'm a 41-year HIV survivor. I am writing for this conference for PAUSE magazine, Positively Aware, and My Fabulous Disease. In 30 years of coming to this conference, I don't think I've ever felt self-conscious to be an American than I have this year. We clearly know that the destruction, the grief, the problems, the lead story of this conference is a direct result of the Trump administration. I have a couple of first for Mr. Reid. How are you? And how your so much of the work that you devoted your life to has been dismantled. And I'm wondering how it is you're dealing with that, as are all policymakers kind of at your level of government. I see that you're no longer doing that, and yet, there's many people there. There's many people who have left. How is that feeling to you personally?
The last 18 months has been awful for many people, like years ago. People who gave their whole careers to serve people overseas. You've heard about HIV and other elected diseases were callously laid off. The whole US had substantial. And then the people at CDC. In some ways, I was lucky. I actually was able to resign. I was laid off. And so I didn't have to necessarily go through the trauma of that experience. But I will say that from inside PEPFAR, it's been a really hard experience. People sort of executing policies that make no public sense, that are complete odds with why they wanted to be part of that where they're. Essential premise of public health is that we want to serve the underserved. It's equity informed, and when you call out that focus, it ceases to be needed by the power. And so I think that's been a real frustration for many that keep in government who are, giving their lives to public service. So I just would say, I'm not justifying the speed or the callousness of the cuts. There are some reasonable critiques of the PEPFAR program that are outlined in the American press over strategy. It was inefficient, it was duplicative, there was some redundancy. A lot of funds didn't end up in country or went to big NGOs, indirects to the implementing finance. And so if a leaner, more integrated response can sustain the gains, then that could be a good thing. I think the concern is the speed, the carelessness, the lack of equity that was his concern. But it wasn't perfect before, and like, I'm glad to work for the certain highlight.